All right, so hello everybody. Before we get going on to this MSG run, which is quickly approaching now, one thing I wanted to look back, I was kind of maybe thinking of looking back. Obviously, everybody has their favorite jams of the year, the best of the year. I'm going to take a look at the worst shows of the year. I couldn't single it out, the worst songs of the year. That would be much more difficult. And why would someone put themselves through that? So I just kind of based this on my own recaps, looking at or playing around on live Phish a little bit. And then once I kind of came up with, yeah, I think these were songs. So these were probably my least favorite shows. And a little bit of it was affected by a rain delay. And even though, and some of these shows did have their moments, it's not like it was just complete dud from beginning to end. So a rain delay really shouldn't be held against them, but look, it's the reality of it. And then there was things within those shows that could have been better. And then we got off to a rough start in Mexico. Two of those shows were really two of my least favorite of the year, the 23rd and the 26th. The one, again, it was just a one long set. We also got that. You know, maybe should be giving it a little bit of a pass there, but then just that one set wasn't great. They still, for some reason, decided to do an encore. And then the other one, the 26th, I guess, which would have been the final night, they opened up the second set with Possum and Julius, and then they also played Susie Greenberg that set. Of course, they did end it with Slave to the Traffic Light. Like I said, there were some highlights in these bad shows, but... So right off the bat, those may have been two of my least favorite of the year. And then one that's on the list, I think, going back this summer, I really liked Star Lake too. But then looking at the recap, I was like, did I really like this show? And then listening to a little bit of it on the live Phish. And then ultimately, once I had my list decided, I felt pretty good about my opinion because I went on .net, and a lot of these shows were also very lowly rated. On every show, everybody's going to feel a little bit different about. But that is a decent gauge when you get 400, 500, 600 people being like, I didn't think this show was that great. So it's like, okay, so it seems like... I'm on the same page with a lot of fans there anyhow. And, it depends on where you go on the internet, too. I just feel like .net's, maybe somewhere. There's a place over here where just everybody, Phish is awful. And then over here, everything Phish does is amazing. .net's is somewhere in the center there a little bit. I wouldn't say that they're not independent, They lean more towards the everything's awesome, which I guess that was this way. What am I? I'm turning into the song more. Let's see, he tilts to the left and leans to the right or something in that song. I proudly don't really know the lyrics to more. And then, the Wilmington run was a bit of a bummer. One night you got a rain out there. The one show, I didn't particularly love the one show, even though I think that was the night you got the big song I Heard the Ocean Sing. Clearly a highlight, but then the rest of the show, not, I don't know. Then the rain delay night, not necessarily its fault. There was a good wave of hope and Back on the Train that night, I believe. So some good stuff at Wilmington. Same thing with Star Lake, too. There was a song or two, maybe a Sand ended one of the sets. That was really nice. And then Chicago Night 3, I feel like it's been mixed, Some people loved it. I know that I was kind of sick. Kind of came back, had the Nutter Center fever following for a few days there, and then so I didn't really like that third night in Chicago. And upon a re-listen, I wasn't there. Wasn't too into it. The wave of hope towards the end of the set, I think it's just the fact that that song had a good year actually, going all the way back to the beginning of Wave of Hope. I believe that would have been like 22 or something. It slowly worked its way up to being a big one. And had a big year this year. Just, the Chicago Night 3 one wasn't necessarily feeling at the time. And then Dick's Night 4, again, wasted by a rain delay. Just not a lot of jamming. I don't know. There's just felt like that one was, again, perhaps the expectations were too high. So Wilmington and Dick's, you could give them a little pass because weather played into it. Chicago Night 3, maybe it was my fault. Star Lake 2, I really don't know. Because at one point I was like, this is one of my favorite shows of the summer. And then those two Mexico shows, really the whole Mexico run wasn't that great. But those are weird shows, So there's a little bit of a built-in excuse for all of these. You only had one set the one time. Something I'm calling a bad show was really just a bonus set. A welcome. Used to get only 3 nights in Mexico. Now you get your 3 nights in one day, I suppose. So I don't know, man. I'm sure people will be like, what are you talking about? Chicago Night 3 was great. Nobody thinks that 226 That was Mexico, the final night of Mexico. What is it with these final nights? Now, look, they crushed it at MSG in the middle of the summer if we were going to do a best of. So that's why, and also I know we got some shows left this year. Be like, how can you do your worst of 23 when we still have shows remaining? I'm pretty confident that any show played at MSG is not going to be the worst of anything. Feel pretty good about that. So, that's it, man. Phish had a pretty solid year, I would say, if I had to really look to find the worst, and then I could kind of nitpick these a little bit, you know, and there was good stuff in there. I hate to do it to my man Spud, putting Wilmington on the shit list, but, and then I don't know who this F Zappa 20 guy was in the middle of the summer that thought Star Lake was cool. Like I said, the Nutter Center Fever. I don't know. Now I'm starting to disagree with myself. This is it though. This is the list. All right. You want to hear some bad shows? Check out those. Check out the Mexico run, the final night of Dicks. Wilmington, the problem was as soon as it really started to, you know, the afterburners were flying. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. All right, that means it's time to go. That's what that means, people. All right, guys. Don't worry. If you don't like the mustache, it won't be there much longer. And I don't know. Was there any other stinkers that I missed? I feel like the Nutter Center shows were somewhere in the middle. Obviously, it get a little hometown bias here for me. I would have bumped those shows up a little bit. I don't know if I gave them 5 stars. I don't even know which night I liked better. I think I liked night 1 better. You know, it had been a long time since I went to a Phish show and brought someone with me that it was their first show. And Mary seemed to like night 1. Night 2, I don't think she really liked it, you know. So there's that. I mean, that's something. Uh-oh. You know that new cat I got? We named him Miles. I don't think Miles is sticking. I think his name's Floppy Jalopy. That just seems to be the one that stuck. It was a possibility. Sorry, Dan Z. I know Dan Z's like, I just figured out Miles, man. I think everybody. All right, guys. Boom. We are out of here. Thanks for watching, and the MSG run is coming soon. I'm talked out. Ready to talk some Phish, and now I'm all talked out. I'm all cooped out. It's a good Stanton Moore album. I don't know where that came from. Boom.